Are you ready?
Well, hello there. How are you doing, Lady Liane?
I'm doing well, Grizzly Chris. How are you?
Oh, wonderful. Welcome, everybody, to another edition
Of Riding the Frequency.
Riding the Frequency.
Like whether you want to or not, that's what we're doing because we're all frequency. So I guess it's birthright to ride a frequency, isn't it? I am the frequency. So are you, Grizzly.
Absolutely. Welcome, Standing Stone.
What's up?
Yeah, it's a little twisted, everybody. It's coming in.
Somebody said this is going to be a good one, and I want to know who that is. Is that Randall? It's YouTube user.
Randall. It's always going to be a good one.
It's always going to be Randall. Randall plays really nice guitar and writes really nice songs, and he and his wife Liane sound so nice together. Seriously, I used to watch him play back in LA. We used to play at this Tuesday night music club at the State Social House every Tuesday night. It was awesome. It was good. That went on a good 18 months, maybe more.
Welcome, Roger. How you doing there? Welcome.
Roger, how you doing? Simply Spooky Network. Blah, blah, blah. The spooky. I like it.
Yeah, we're broadcasting on their network right now over in UK.
In where?
UK.
Oh, cool. Well, they have drones there too. And I'm sure they get to watch Stephen Greer too. And I wonder if they're watching Ross Coulthard and his interviews. It's Screen Actors Guild Awards screeners season, which means Lily, my eyes are about to pop out of my head, man. It's like, are you ready to ride the frequency? I'm ready to take a freaking nap and never look at a screen ever again. But gotta edit that video, gotta watch those screeners. Or do I? I kind of do to vote responsibly. But really, all I want to do is watch Ross Coulthard and his... I have to say his name like that. I hope he's not insulted, like he's going to watch. Probably not. But that's
Hello,
okay.
Jimmy. Welcome to the show.
Jimmy, what's going on?
He's with Outlaw Paranormal.
Outlaw Paranormal. We like that.
Yeah.
Well, so, yeah. And Jimmy, what do you think? Shouldn't paranormal be normal? Really? I mean, come on. It's there. It's normal. It's been happening since forever.
Hey, Leonard. Welcome to the show.
Well, hello.
He's down there in Miami, Florida.
Miami.
Yeah.
How come it's not your Miami? It's Miami. Could have a fight. No, we're not doing play on words. Well, so I don't know if anybody in this particular audience has been watching this stuff, this News Nation stuff. Everybody's been wanting disclosure. Guess what? It's happening. The train has left. And now we've got special forces guys coming out basically saying that they are devoted to their country. And the citizenry needs to know that there are aliens, there are non-human intelligence out there And it all comes back to consciousness, and it all comes back to psionics. And I'm going, yeah, you think? So I'm feeling pretty validated if we're going to get ego-ish. I told you so. So many more of those coming from my pie hole. Oh my God. Really?
Greer
And
says
so,
they walk amongst us right now.
I'm sorry?
Greer says they walk amongst us.
Well, they have been this whole time. Like I've been saying for 3 years, and I was half joking, but now I'm not joking. Go look in the mirror. We all have non-human intelligence DNA throwdown. So they're family. There are brothers and sisters. There are cousins and aunts and uncles, if you really want to look at it that way. And we really have no business shooting them down or luring them with people who know how to work their psionics, just so that we can steal their tech and be the biggest, angriest monkey in the galaxy. It's a little tired. This is not the exercise. It's not. It really isn't. It's like within a generation, if we use the tech for the good of humanity, we'd be cleaned up here, and if human beings actually knew how to work their psychic, innate, sixth, and I'm sure there are seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, and 11th senses that we don't know about, that we will know about once we start working that psionic muscle. It's muscles. You got to work it. And we're so distracted. So episode 4, like at 30 minutes, Grizzly, I don't know if you want to pull up the video. We're not going to get a strike. I don't know about News Nation, but I know about pulling up Stephen Greer's podcast. He's like, here, put it everywhere, slap it on your face, take it to the Starbucks. So dear YouTube, don't be slapping us with any kind of just nonsense. Greer said I could do it. Daddy said I could. So that said, podcast episode number 4. The link is in this guy's Facebook. So I don't know how you do that. Like I could do it, but it'll just waste time because I'm not the producer kind of guy yet. But at 30 minutes, Greer's talking to Mike Mazzola, and he says that we've intercepted communication from non-human intelligence. To clarify, not them trying to contact us, them talking to each other. 2 different, and I don't like this word, races.
Shut the front door.
Talking to each other.
And we understand it?
About how, well, I'll get to that. About how the angry monkeys have got to like we've put up with it for enough here, but they've got to stop luring us, shooting us down, and then dragging us into little cells and keeping us hostage while they work and steal our technology. It's not okay. He's saying that if we were to go make nice with them, they'd likely share the technology and help fix the earth, because what we're doing affects everybody. We're entangled. I don't know how many people understand entangled out there. Whether you're conscious of it or not, that's how it works. Whether you've been told this, whether you've been informed or not, that's how it works. This is why we have a problem with education here at Lily's house, because 99.9% of the education systems out there teach children how to conform and behave and be told what to think, so that by the time they're adults, some will be worker bees, others will have conformed to the point where they can run things and not very off the trail. This sounds very David Icke, little Johnny, come back. Well, little Johnny, little Lily, bye-bye. They never had me. The most they had me personally, I think, is loving to watch TV shows. That's I like to go into my catatonia every once in a while just to get that out of here. But meditation, I've found later in life, is as if not more satisfying when it comes to that. So back to they're not going to put up with this stuff much longer. So we better get our together. That said, the only way to do that, not the only way, but one of the best ways, is to write to the president, write to the congressman, write to everybody, and say that the executive orders which Dr. Greer suggested should be implemented yesterday. There needs to be a 100% cease target on these things. Stop it. Need to work with them. And I'm sure if there is a malevolent species out there, whatever benevolent species is trying to give us all the rope they can and let us hang ourselves, which is clearly what we seem to like to do, they're not going to give us too much more rope. They're not going to let us hang ourselves, I don't think, because that affects them.
Yeah, it really does.
How many times are we going to get wiped, or altered? Which begs the question, like mRNA and this talk about the split, like messenger RNA, like, is there some kind of push by some force, intelligence, technology that they know messenger RNA can change the species so that if the Earth's next terraformation happens to be a little bit more dystopic, that the species survives? Is that what transhumanism is about? Is it about control? Neuralink is clearly a transhuman something. That's not, you cannot drill into somebody's head and put a little receptor in there, transmitter, like it turns us into supercomputers. Like, okay. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who are materialist, intellectualist, ego driven, and want to feel important and special are going to go running to get that thing implanted as soon as it's, quote, on the market, unquote. And that begs the question, if they've got the tech to transhumanize us to the point where we don't become ill or need medicine, then who needs Medicare, all this other stuff? Like, I get where he's going, but like, you got to explain like what the end game is. If you're going to wipe out Medicare and do crazy stuff, you're just making the people start screaming at each other and going nuts. Any relationship. And I'm not saying release all of the tech, because that, I agree, would be dumb. Like, because then you've got some sociopath that decides he wants to, destroy the world for whatever programming, we can't do that either. But do we need to know that we're not alone? Yeah. Do we need to maybe even apologize to all the people who were ridiculed, whose lives were ruined, the families of people who were literally murdered over this stuff? People get murdered. Donald Trump, you want people to stop dying. Okay. How about you make them stop dying with your 3-letter agencies? Call your dogs off. Teach us that we're psionic. Maybe that's to the benefit of Earthlings somehow. Not everything has to go rogue. Yeah, trade some tech for taking peeps. Well, they already did that. They already made that.
Did.
And and I think that's part of what they don't want to say. Like, we gave you up, and then bad people took the program over and ran with it, and we got screwed over, us nice, gullible people. Like, and that's it. Human beings are so gullible. We're very naive. We'll believe anything, and they count on that. So the people who make us feel safe, we've been groomed and we love our groomer. That's what it sounds like to me. It's creepy if you put it in those terms. Think about it. The masses have been groomed by something that wants us to not think, not see them. It's like a 2-year-old. Don't see me. Oh, you can't see me. Well, yeah, we can. Your hands are over your eyes, dipshit. It's almost like that, and it's emperor's new clothes. So back to write to your congressman, write to the president. Don't stop. Dog these guys. Because if we don't, and if those orders don't get passed, then our special ops guys can't act and protect our sanity and our dignity. Like, you want to talk ego-based dignity. Like, how undignified is it to walk around not knowing what you are, not knowing that you're psychic, not knowing that psychic is real, being groomed to ridicule the idea to the point where science, that's in charge of everything, refutes it. Like, they're only just now starting to maybe believe it. Like, there's a guy named Dr. Sam Parnia. He wanted to put electrodes on my mom's head while she was dying. And I was okay with it as long as it was a skull cap. But then the lady came by and, like, I've got this mess of wire. I can show you. I kept them, these wires, and they wanted to put it everywhere on her head. I was like, okay, that is not what we discussed. We discussed a skull cap, which is not intrusive. Why would aliens trade? Could they not abduct humans anyway? I think, like, if my grasp of the information is accurate, it's a prime directive thing where you can't just waltz onto a planet, I suppose, unless you're an alpha draconian Nazi lizard bad man being, bad person thing, that it's just kind of not allowed, to interfere. But I think at the point where our bad behavior interferes with the well-being of the greater good of the greater amount, that cannot be tolerated. Right?
Right.
Like, there's certain behavior I won't tolerate in my space anymore. At one time it was okay, but now I can't do that. Well, yeah, exactly. Everything's a psyop. That's what I'm talking about. Groomers, a little twisted. It's like they're trying to, and then different people believe different things, and then all the myths, and then the dis, and then the information. It just gets crazy. And again, because we're gullible and we're ego-based with the indoctrination, everybody wants to be right because that makes them feel important. And then we start taking sides. Like, taking sides, I know we live in a dualistic situation, and I know that without big there can't be small because there's no point of reference. I get it. But, like, when it goes beyond point of reference and becomes embedded in power grab, it's just ugly. It's ugly. I don't understand why there needs to be ugly. Like, and I've been plenty mean to people. I've been plenty inappropriate. I've said things. My mouth has reduced people to dust. My mouth has made people feel amazing, and do I have power? No, that's basically because I was probably using them to look at both of those things in myself. It all becomes a very self-involved activity. And you use other people to feel angry when really you're just carrying anger and they didn't do anything. Like, so it's your anger. It's, and it's same vice versa. When people off gas at you, it has nothing to do with you. Has everything to do with them. I mean, sure, you don't want to go poke somebody in the eye and go, hey, don't get mad at me. I didn't do anything. You just poked me in the eye. I don't doing that. Like, different. Just, I don't know. It's difficult to be triggered if you're not holding the emotion someplace subconsciously. Anyway, so yeah, these guys cannot go and raid the castle, as it were, on behalf of humanity and make the Black Ops stop. If Congress and the president haven't backed it, why is that? Because then they're doing illegal stuff, rogue stuff, treasonous stuff too. Like, you can't fight it with the same stuff that they're doing. So you got these really good human beings, like that guy Jake Barber. Apparently he's got several businesses. The guy's a millionaire. He doesn't need the fame. Honestly, he's a musician. I'm interested in that. Like, now I want to talk to him. Why? Because he plays music. Like, what? You don't want to talk to him about not really. Like, I think I already know what I need to know. I'm just waiting for it all to get vomited up and out because it's toxic. Citizenry deserves an explanation. The citizenry deserves to know what the hell happened at Roswell, what they know from before Roswell, what kind of international agreements were made, and why is it all hush, 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 hush? You know, stop weaponizing everything from vocabulary to tech. Write to your congressman, write to the president. Help these special ops guys get in there and fix it, because it needs to get fixed. And we're not going to go backwards now when we've got this Jake Barber yapping and then two other guys who have his back, and this Don Paul Bales. I loved his interview. So straightforward, so direct, and Ross Coulthard. Sorry. Oh, love saying that like that. Sometimes I get frustrated with him, but sometimes I think he already knows the answer and asks the questions because the audience, he feels, might not quite be caught up. So it's like he's playing dumb so that the audience can feel like he's one of us.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's also like a psyop. I wish people would stop manipulating everybody for the sake of, and it's not entertainment exactly, but it's definitely like the cliffhanger mentality, the kind of, his answer will be, it'll hit the audience better if I play dumb too. Like, I don't know. It's a way of doing things. He says, Ross, that he's been getting death threats from people who think that he should rip the Band-Aid and tell everybody everything he knows. Well, this guy's a journalist. He knows people in probably in deep state. He's got informers internationally who hear things.
Right.
No, nobody's going to talk to him if he starts blabbing. Like, what is wrong with you? No. But that's, again, the guys that are like sending him emails that I'm going to kill you if you don't disclose everything. Like, those are the guys that, this is why we don't let the tech out, because that guy will go use it on Ross, like in his backyard. Like, it's not what we're doing. So when Ross said, last year he did some interview. I don't even remember which one it was now because there's so many. He said, I think the first quarter of 2025 is going to be very exciting. Oh, now what would make you say that? You got to know something? You want to bet those interviews he did with Don Paul and Jacob Barber? That was probably before Christmas. So he already knew what they were going to say. These are the guys that Stephen Greer said, we've got 3 guys, few whistleblowers who've got actual tangible evidence. Because everyone, show me, let's see it. Look, everybody, here, point to your consciousness. Come on, point to your mind. You're going to point here, that's your brain. That's in your physical body. Your mind is not a physical part of your body. Neither is your consciousness. Your brain processes stuff, It's like a big antenna. If you took your brain out and took all the nerves and just looked at that, and just like if you were able to, I don't know, like you take a core out of an orange, out and just flip it on a piece of slab. That's a transmitter and a receiver. And a control center. Okay. This is what allows us to pick up and receive messages psychically.
Yeah.
When I say to you, there's a red apple over there, like in my mind, I see a red apple. Whatever frequency that electromagnetic transmission, the thought, And whatever senses, I know it's a red apple, I know what it tastes like, I know what it smells like. All of that is, in my thought, red apple. All of the things about a red apple that I experience is in that thought. So it's not so difficult to think that people who are receiving thoughts, who are of higher intelligence, because their species has been wordless for way longer than we have, right? It's all in there. This is why remote viewers have ideograms. Here's a blob. Whoever drew that blob and whatever they thought while they were drawing it, all that information is in the blob. It's a physical, two-dimensional, with information that came from there through here, through the hand, into the blob. I show you the blob, and you'll know what I was thinking. It's not that difficult to grasp. You know, so I want to see these guys. I want to see the special ops guys. I want to see all the ex-Marines. I want to see all these people who want to help, be able to help legally, because the operations that are being done wherever they're being done quietly and nefariously, you know, those are not legal. They're not legal. They're unconstitutional. And they're using our tax dollars to do it, which is even more nutsy cuckoo. And we're just so busy. Damn, they canceled TikTok. Oh, what? Oh my God, no. They should cancel all the social media and give you plenty of time to do nothing and get quiet. They already tried that with the pandemic, and it worked for some people. Getting quiet. Being forced into shh. It didn't make all of us crazy, said the crazy woman. Help me. Yeah. So I don't know, is there time to roll any of that YouTube?
Yeah, do you want me to play it or?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know, excuse me, we'll probably get hit with commercials or whatever, which is kind of annoying. But does anybody else want to see what I'm talking about a little bit? Or do you guys want to, I put the link for the episode 4 of Dr. Greer's Whatnot in the hoo-ha.
All right.
It's in the chat.
Start at the beginning or?
Well, I can look at the timestamps that I sent you. At 16 minutes, he starts talking about how, I can paraphrase a little bit. He starts talking about his CE5 protocol that he did the first time back in the 990s, I want to say. Yeah.
Let me get to this.
All right.
All right. Let's see here. All right, stand by. Here we go. And action here.
You talking my language there.
Is understanding very deeply the science of consciousness, period. Now, of course, I've always been ridiculed for this, called a kook, called a quack. I don't care. I'm sort of bulletproof, or what you want to call me. But because I've been called everything over the last 35 years. But that is a fact. Now, that's coming out now with what they're talking about with these P3 and psionic programs. But I want to explain the stark difference, very stark. There are 180 degrees diametrically opposed. Now, eventually, I told this gentleman, I said, look, if I possess something like that, I'm quite sure I'll be killed. And I don't think that most people are at a level of higher consciousness where they can possess such a technology and not use it for selfish purposes.
Can you pause it right there for a second?
Very powerful. Forget AI.
Okay, what he's talking about is after he did his CE5 protocol, he was approached by some by some old dude who had this machine that you can hook up to, and it would assist the consciousness, technology assisted consciousness. So basically, when he first started talking, I thought it was like Bob Monroe, but it was a technology that could help you amplify your psi abilities and be able to contact non-human intelligence, which is why he said, dude, if I had that, he was on his deathbed. He wanted to give the thing to Greer because he knew what Greer was doing with meditation and consciousness. Greer said, no, I'd be killed if I had something like that. So go ahead. You can, I just wanted to explain what he was talking about. Some dude wanted to give him his contraption. And then ultimately some company got a hold of it, and that company is no longer, I'm sure it got absorbed into Lockheed or wherever. Anyway. Maybe we can continue what he was saying now. Sorry.
Yeah. This would be that on mega steroids, right? That is something that there has to be a certain evolution in human consciousness and peaceful consciousness. And I hate to use these old-fashioned terms, altruism and selflessness, before you possess that. Now, I would have been able to possess it and done no harm. But I don't think that that's something that, if you look at the fact that about 12% of humans are sociopaths, and within that category, there are a lot that are psychopaths, who usually become dictators and leaders around the world and CEOs of companies. That is not a great idea. Okay. So I said, thank you, but no thank you. I'm glad to know that this exists because it explains a lot of what I already had begun to experience by people approaching me from the intelligence community. And then a year later, approximately, I can't remember the month, in 91 that I met this gentleman. He's long since passed away. And by the way, the company, there was a front company that was a cutout running for the CIA that bought that technology called Alpha Metric Corporation, is what he told me. I'm sure there's no trace of it. I'm sure it was something, an invisible shell company that absorbed it and then took it. But he still understood the science.
Alpha is an alphabet?
Yeah, Alpha Metric Corporation. Mm-hmm. So do with that what you will. So, I mean, that's 1956. I mean, you know, they can erase the records. If there's any track record of it, I'd be surprised. Nevertheless, I said, thanks, but no thanks, right? For the reasons I just explained. It's security and safety. I didn't think it was something that we were ready to do. And I knew it would put a big bullseye on us, on me. So, but he was a sincere guy wanting to help, because he thought this is what we should have always used this for, right? Is what you're doing, not what the military industrial complex, not what Lockheed and Northrop and Raytheon and the military people who are running covert programs using tech like this to target and down ET crap and kill them, right?
So they're using technology like viewing assist to.
Okay, so yeah, what he's saying, they're using this technology to assist them to down craft, and preferably whole craft, so they can reverse engineer it, steal the tech, and if there happen to be any passengers, whether they're biologic or robot, we just drag them out too. And,
well, you know why Greer's still alive, don't you?
Well, because he's got information that he hasn't released yet.
That is correct, and he's got safety nets.
That's right.
If somebody takes him out, everything
it all comes out.
That's right.
Yes, that's right. Everything comes out within 24 hours. Everything.
People, yes.
I mean, so why people are busy watching TV shows like Homeland and The Old Man and whatever, when we've got like, forget reality shows. This is like reality, period.
This is real.
This is real. So I don't know, where are we? We're at 19 minutes in his thing. Okay. Can you fast forward to 30 minutes?
Yes, 30 minutes.
And if we get hit with commercials, sorry. We can
All right, here
mute
we
that.
go.
This week
Of the craft, there should be no more striking of them with any type of electromagnetic weapon. So that needs to be done by an executive order and a law passed through Congress, and then it has to be enforced. And the way it's going to be enforced are the special forces guys who've separated from the military are now ready to work under a law enforcement team in the United States, and there's another team being stood up that could operate overseas. So I'm involved with briefing them, and I'm involved in trying to get them up to speed. But they can't act. My friends, listen. We live purportedly in a democracy. They can't act unless the president and the Congress acts, and because then they would be unconstitutional and rogue, right? So, which they don't want to be. They want to operate under the rule of law and the rule of the Constitution. So we need to write our leaders and explain, please pass the executive orders that Dr. Greer has provided in the presidential briefing document and the briefing document for Congress. Soon, we're going to publish that entire document, except with certain redactions for sensitive reasons that everyone listening and everyone in the world can read. And it will be a page turner. It's 310 or 20 pages, something like that. So that's what we need to do. I just wanted to get all that put together quickly in a package. And then what you were going to ask something, Mike?
Yeah, I got two questions. The first one is, when you say that this is a communication, an extraterrestrial communication that was intercepted, is this an ET communication to another ET civilization that we eavesdropped on, or is this real? Okay, can you elaborate on that?
Well, look, I mean, if you understand,
there is electromagnetic.
Yeah, Greg Braden, we know, Greggy.
Space-time at a transdimensional level, and you understand the physics of the interface between what we would call electromagnetics and thought conscious fields, psionic, TAC and CAT. You can set up systems that can receive that kind of data. And apparently that has happened. And people say, well, is it in English? I said, it doesn't need to be, because this gets into something we don't necessarily have time to go into, but there's a pre-verbal level. So let's say, I'm going to say a word.
That's what I was saying before.
Apple. No, red apple. Now, those English words, red apple, doesn't mean anything to someone who speaks Swahili or Mandarin if they don't know English. But inside those words is the image, the essence of a red apple. Let's call that the visual aspect of it. And within that is the causality, the meaning of the thought. All right? It's called causation at thought level. And that is where real communication happens. It's in those packets of the thought essence. And then it can go into the visual and or specific language. So I want to unpack that. That's what we do with our CE5 contact when we're receiving information. This is very advanced concepts. I mean, I know this is kind of going to lose people here. This is why, you know what? We're going to do a whole week cruise on a ship in the middle of the Caribbean. 200, by the way, that's sold out, but they can only take 200 people. But you can join us by webinar, although we may have some dead spots in the ocean. But that's
Hopefully
April
turn into Gilligan's Island
12th or something.
But I'll put the link up on the screen.
Yeah, it'll be so cool. But because we've never done it in the middle of the dark ocean, every night we'll be out in the middle of the dark ocean. It'll be phenomenal.
I've always wanted to do CE5 in the middle of the ocean.
Me too.
Near ET base.
Yes. Well, yes. Yeah. And you're further away from a lot of the assets to strike them. So
I think that's
now, one other little bit here.
So
yeah, man, like it's all gonna come out.
That they got this program So were they intercepted the communication and got all these images and deciphered it?
I'm saying that they no, he's explaining that when Jake Barber received messages and he got all emotional when he was saying that in his interview, or when people are contacted by non-human intelligence who are not malevolent, it's a very spiritual experience. Like, I know I've had experiences where I literally feel like my heart is gonna like I'm heart orgasm, like I can barely breathe, and tears, and like I've had very strange, like extremely heightened joy experience with a presence of something. See with my eyes. So what he's saying is that there were communications, I guess, yes, intercepted by a psionic instrument or whatever person that is working for the government in that capacity. You know, so they've got psychic spies still. I mean, this is remote viewing, how that's evolved. Pretty sure. I mean, it's remote viewing assisted, and then technology assisted consciousness, and then consciousness assisted technology. That's what those craft that you fly with your consciousness assisted technology, because there's an entanglement. It's all based in quantum physics. Like, I'm a 10th grade dropout, so I can't explain the physics to you with words and equations, but like I know in my guts like what, and I feel stuff, you know? A lot of us feel stuff. Right. But again, what's telepathy? Thoughts. Thoughts are electromagnetic signals, and they're on a certain frequency. And once you learn that and understand that and know how to control your transmitting and receiving, the words can go away. Like, then there'll be no streamcasts. Sorry, won't need it. Except for practicing some kind of fellowship. You know, and then you can do that with other people in person. Because if we're all at that point, then we're probably not, you know, come to the cave now. Like, we're over that now, right?
Right.
I'm gonna shave my head like Grizzly, and then they won't be able to do that to me ever again. Right, exactly. Well, and that's the whole crazy thing. Like, it's not even that they'll know that we can do it. It's that the trillions of dollars that are being made off of our naivete, our gullible, our love of our groomers, because we can't even conceive of anything other. We've been so dumbed down. This is like No Child Left Behind. I've been saying it forever. Like, the education system, it makes you conform. It doesn't make you think. They don't want you to think. You know, I'm sorry. Like, I want to talk to Paul Smith. I want to talk to somebody from the Monroe Institute. I'm sure that, like, my kids, by the time they were in the gifted programs, they weren't doing anything at Will Rogers in Santa Monica to play psychic games with the kids in 3rd and 4th grade in the gifted program. It was just an after-school program that, you know, is just there. You know, but there are some gifted programs where you were taken out of your class to go play fun games. And kids who had really high IQs were flagged. Like, there's a woman named Rebecca Rose. She was just on Exopolitics. I've heard her speak before. You know? And that guy, Andrew Basiago. These guys aren't cracked. I think the mind wipe didn't work too good. Some people are resistant. I'm pretty resistant. I don't want anybody to tell me how to think, control my consciousness. You come to my dream time, I'll stab you in the face. Get out of here. My dream time. I'm not going to drink your Coors beer. I think beer's gross anyway. So good luck to you, Coors. Well, my mom always said, "Oh, a cold beer on a hot day with a frankfurter." She wouldn't call them hot dogs, a frankfurter. I like, yeah. She would put sauerkraut and mustard on hers. I learned from my friend to put ketchup on mine, but it's nothing I grew up with. Then it was Dijon mustard for a while, and then I just stopped eating hot dogs because. Get with Althea on Grizz show. She's got connection to Monroe Institute.
Yeah, she really does.
Oh, I'm talking to a guy named Ignacio, who's now the head music guy, because I write music. And this one song that I wrote that came out, Ego is the Servant, the first part of it is like hemisync. It's a sine wave, like in the bass note. If you go to Spotify, you can hear it. And that whole song is really based on consciousness and there being one mind, It's a special song. Like, I can't really take credit for these things. It's how I've accumulated information and spit it back out if you want to come at it intellectually. But, when something hits me and I need to sit down and the whole first part of that song, like I think I've said this on this show before. And I'm sorry to talk about me. I just distracted myself. But yeah, I kept hearing my mind is the center of divine operation and my ego is the servant. Like I kept hearing it in my head to the point where I had to come in here and sit down. So I just started with this really kind of weird bass note that's kind of like that. And then just whatever, it was like automatic writing, but it was like automatic blah. And that was kind of interesting. And then I extended it into something that was a little more less weird. And then made what I was hearing in my head over and over again, the refrain, So yeah. So basically, I was talking to this guy Ignacio because a friend of mine had listened to that song and started seeing geometric patterns, and I thought, well, yeah, because that bass is, I think there's a sine wave in there, and I don't know what hertz it is. Like I know how to make sine waves for like gamma and alpha, and I've thought about making meditation music for myself so that I can hemi-sync my own. I'll hemi my own sync. Thanks. Anyway, but so yeah, so that, and there's a guy named Paul Smith. I've been playing phone tag with him. Seems like a very kind person. I would love to talk to Skip Atwater or McMonagle, man, because I've had my own remote viewing experiences and my own precognitive experiences. And I know it's not a mistake, and I know it's not paranormal. It's probably when I was able to just let go of my story long enough to, well, hello, Diva. Someone wants to say hello.
Oh, it's a friend. It's a friend.
It's a friend. It's a little baby dinosaur dragon person. Hi. Well, hello. Am I going to get a kiss? What are you doing? Oh. Hi, people. That's Diva Bird. I got her in 1988. 1988. And she was about a year old. Yeah. Diva Bird. Okay, so, well, maybe if I ignore her, she'll start talking. She usually starts talking over me at a certain point. Kids, they're all the same. Doesn't matter if they're 35. Right? You're looking a little freaked out. Is it the light? You don't like it? That's Grizzly. Oh, what? When she starts talking like that, my husband used to walk out to get water, and she would start that noise. He'd like freak out thinking there was somebody in the house when she first came back to me. Yeah. Hi, Diva Bird. Everybody's saying hello to you. Hi. That's how the light language started, because I was babbling at my birds, and a guy named Reuben Langdon heard me, and he was like, that's light language. I said, what? I said, I'm just babbling at my birds. He's like, yeah, no, that's light language. What the hell is light language? And then he showed me an episode of Lisa Royal Holt and Ron Holt having light language sessions at their house. She's pretty interesting, that Lisa Royale Holt. I enjoyed that show. Interviews with ED. I started watching that in 2019 when I got here. Look into empty space time. Okay. You guys can email me, Here, should I put my email in the Here. Here. Can you get on my shoulder? No? I need my right ear. Can you stay there? Is that okay? You okay there? I'm going to move now. Okay. I was going to type something. My email. That's right. Anybody wants to email me anything? Suggestions for shows, guests. There you go. That should work. Look at me squinting. Squinting. Wow. So yeah. Do I have part?
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, buckle up. You know what? Bring it, dude. Bring it. Bring it. Like I'm capable of I think assimilating and sponging higher concepts. I don't like sitting, I don't like reading, I don't particularly like studying or researching. But I absorb stuff and I'll contemplate it, and usually it comes back out pretty I don't want to say accurate, but there's another word I'm looking for. Like, I do my best to process things and spit them back out intelligently. Let's just put it that way. Sometimes it comes out in Liane speak, which is sometimes charming, sometimes offensive, depending on the topic, my mood, and the receiver, and how uptight they are or aren't. Right, Diva? Can you make that voice? Do it. Do it. Okay, I'm getting a kiss. What does a kitty say? Will you tell everybody what a kitty says? What is a kitty? Kiss it. Oh, really? Huh? Want to go to the Monroe Institute? They said they give scholarships because we can't afford that this week. Should start a GoFundMe. Send Liane to the Monroe Institute for a week. And then she'll come back and tell you what she's, as long as there's no NDA involved. Right? But the parrot doesn't sign NDAs and she talks. So I don't know what to tell you there. Can it say "I"? No, but I can say "arg." You want to go? Let's go. I'm still trying to figure out where I can go. It's a little too cold, but I really want to go to my friend's house. She's got a couple acres. She said she'd put a tiny house on it and I could go live in it. Oh, thank you. My friend Ravenna. But yeah, like I want to go to a field and do CE5s. I do them here in the apartment, and like Greer says, I definitely flash things in my head like, we're not friendly. We've got things that'll take you down. So if it's not safe, like, don't show up. But I feel like the orbs are connected to my CE5. And if they're not connected to them, they definitely respond. I know when I put the walkie-talkie to the tones that, like the crop circle tones and the tones that come with the CE5 app into the two-way radio, which is set to frequency mode, after a little while, I'll stop transmitting and just leave it. Birds flip out. The radio starts going, right? Like it works. Something's hearing us, you know? So that's the other thing. If you don't want to write and harass your congressman, then get the CE5 app. You know, there's nothing stopping us from talking to them ourselves and explaining to them that not everybody's like these sociopaths. We're not all like that. Some of us are selfless. Some of us do want good. Some of us do love unconditionally. We're capable, you know, just because of a few bad monkeys. Just deal with them. Send them to the Alpha Draconians. They can go live uglily ever after in some other galaxy. Yeah, of course. And under the water. Like, they're only just starting to talk about that. And who got away from the cataclysm? A lot of people. Where'd they go? Underground. Oh, no. Yeah. Pretty sure it's all going to come out. I hope a few generations from now, this place is beautiful. I hope it takes less than that. So, looks like we've come to the end of another hour somehow.
I know it. And somebody wants to say something to you.
Uh-oh. Who wants to say what to me?
Mary.
Oh, well, Mary. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mary. Happy birthday to you. It's Mary's birthday today. She's double digits.
Singing.
Yeah,
She was. I called this morning and Grizzly didn't pick up the phone. I hear, hello. I said, well, happy birthday. She said he just handed it to me. Well, but, you know, I mean, obviously it's her birthday and whatever, right? But the idea that I was thinking really hard, like I was being very loud, transition-wise, like going, I really need to call Mary. I want to call Mary. I'm going to call Grizzly's phone. I'm going to call, hey, Siri, call Grizzly. Like I was really saying it over and over and over in my own head. So I'm pretty sure he heard me, which is why partially the handoff happened. Oh no, my
thank you when you called this morning because it made my day. It made me so happy and I really appreciate it. And Twisted, thank you so much. Everybody for all of the birthday wishes and everybody that's been saying happy birthday. Kelly Joe was another one that called. Just made my day, made a really wonderful day. And I really appreciate everybody. And it just was awesome.
Well, good. And it will continue to be awesome because it's only 6:29 and it's all about you. Yeah, Julian will probably give you a reading. You know you're going to get more and more attention. You got all those shows. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Soak it up, girl.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, you guys, buckle up, man, and try to stay centered. Please focus on your breath at the very least. And at the very most, remember you're the awareness. You're not the ego. So keep riding the frequency and see you next week. Thanks for coming.
Bye, guys.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Frequency.
to ride the frequency? Are you ready to ride the frequency?